Princess Ebony woke up startled. Ugh, she thought. She could sense Nova moving around restlessly. Nova was definitely not hiding herself from her anymore. Last night at the ball, Nova had hidden herself from her, to the point it was painful. If she hadn't been so angry about everything, it would have left her incapacitated. Now she could tell Nova was definitely in some kind of mood. She could have done without that this morning, she thought, as the memories of how she had acted last night flooded her mind. Nova snorted at her. "Don't start," Princess Ebony said. Nova snorted her displeasure again. Last night has been an absolute fiasco. Princess Ebony had no idea what Nova had been up to while she had been trying to sleep. She could tell there was something going on. She just wasn't sure she wanted to ask. Nova snarled. "Of course there is something up with me. We have a long day today and I have to figure out a way to keep us alive." Princess Ebony sighed. She walked to her bedroom window. The sun had not broken over the horizon. Not even a faint glow of the promised sun was beginning to appear. It was so chilly right at dawn, just before the sun rose. But Princess Ebony knew the chill would dissipate with the sun's appearance. Princess Ebony decided she was not going to let last night's events deter her from one last training session. It was very possibly her last one, and she was well aware of that. "It's time to train," she said to Nova. "It's a beautiful day outside." "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Nova asked. "You are in a lot of trouble. We don't need to add to it more. Don't you think enough is enough?" Princess Ebony was not aware that Nova had accidentally given herself away the night before, in the ballroom amid all the chaos that Princess Ebony had started. Most importantly, Princess Ebony had no idea that Nova had revealed herself to Radion. But then Princess Ebony had no idea yet that Radion even existed, so how could she know? Princess Ebony had been aware of the flames dancing on her skin. She had felt the raw power of it. She just assumed that, because no one had commented about the way she looked, that no one else could see. What she didn't know was, because she was not accepting the mate bond that was between Prince Grayson and her. The glory in which Radion had displayed himself for Nova to behold was still hidden from her, and would be until she totally accepted Prince Grayson as her mate. "Just notify Davin's dragon to meet us at the usual place," snapped Princess Ebony. Nova rolled her eyes at her. The image popped very clearly into Princess Ebony's mind. "Whatever you wish is my command," Nova says sarcastically. Princess Ebony jumped out of her bed. "Please, Nova," she begged. "Could you just quit with the sarcasm? I am very sure that there will be consequences for my actions last night. I just want to have this one last shot at training this morning." Princess Ebony grabbed an everyday dress and pulled it over her head. She sighed. She had left her training outfit in the forest. "I hate changing out in the dark," she commented to Nova. She could tell Nova was communicating with Davin's dragon. Nova had to concentrate harder when Davin's dragon was so far away. So she wasn't sure if Nova had heard her or not. She could tell that it seemed Nova was having a hard time getting Davin's dragon to answer her, but suddenly she could tell that Nova had gotten a response. She didn't really listen in on the conversation. She had too much other stuff on her mind. "Yes, I heard. You're afraid of the bugs you can't see in the dark." Nova snarked. She sighed. "Davin is on his way. He seems to be in a weird mood. I think he must have had a late night because I woke them up. He'll get over it," Princess Ebony chuckled darkly. "I am ready. Let's go," she commanded Nova. Princess Ebony walked over and stepped up on the windowsill like she had yesterday morning. Nova effortlessly shifted as Ebony threw herself out the window, being careful that she didn't dive as deeply as she had yesterday. They flew quietly. Princess Ebony didn't want to think about the night before. Nova could tell that Princess Ebony was concentrating hard to keep her mind from straying to any thoughts that could be stressful. So even though Nova had a lot to say to tell Princess Ebony, she kept it to herself. Nova landed beside the flat rock she had created for Princess Ebony, where her leather gear was hidden. She moved the smaller rock covering the hole she had made in the bigger rock before she shifted back to Ebony. Even though it was an effortless task for Nova, it would have been too much for Princess Ebony in her human form. "Let me see through your eyes," Princess Ebony snapped, before reaching her hand in to get the leather gear. Nova used her power to lend Princess Ebony the ability to see the way she did in dragon form. Princess Ebony gingerly reached into the rock, making sure there were no bugs that might have made their way in there, and grabbed her clothes. She shook them out, then quickly pulled off her dress. Davin is not here yet, she grumbled as she pulled on her leather pants. Nova didn't reply immediately. They are not too far away, she said. If you don't hurry with that shirt, Davin is going to catch you topless again. Princess Ebony pulled her shirt over her head before reaching down for the leather vest. Ha ha, she snorted. That's never going to happen again. Davin's dragon showed up as she fastened the last hook on the leather shirt. He shifted as soon as he landed. Davin walked to an area that he usually didn't hide their training swords in. Instead of the usual dull iron blades they used, today he had brought a steel blade and Princess Ebony's iron sword. The sun's early morning light glinted off of the blade, making the steel shine. How did you get that here? Princess Ebony said, laughing. What's that all about? Was I too much for you yesterday? David looked at her knowingly. I brought it out here last night, after I heard all the talk about what had happened at the ball in the taverns. I knew you would want to get out one more time. The men were ablaze about the tales of your outlandish behavior and how you actually slapped a prince. But before you did that, your dragon was so angry that she shouted at you, and everyone's dragon heard it in their own minds. So now everyone knows about your dragon. I am here to teach you a lesson that you won't forget. He crowed. I knew you would not be able to resist coming out to train this morning. I am going to teach you a lesson today. No holding back. Princess Ebony froze. What? She hissed. You don't know how your dragon gave herself away? Davin taunted Princess Ebony. Every dragon in the ballroom heard your dragon try to stop you before you went around twisting some prince's nose. Nova sighed. This was not the way she had wanted Princess Ebony to find out what had happened to her while Princess Ebony had been going on the rampage. I was so upset at you. I must have let my guard down for a second. I'm sure a second is all it took for them to hear you yell at me, exclaimed Ebony. You knew about that? Davin couldn't help himself as he continued joyously recounting what he had heard. And you commanded. Commanded, he emphasized, that no one was to move and leave the ballroom. All the men are in an uproar because it is just not okay for a woman to command a man and then be forced to comply. Princess Ebony gasped, What is he talking about? You can't blame that on me, Nova said. You drew on my power of your own accord even if you weren't aware of it. You were so angry that you unintentionally used so much of my ancient power that you immobilized some of the dragons in the room. I did what? Princess Ebony yelled at Nova. Why haven't you told me any of this? If I remember right, the first thing you said to me this morning was don't start, so I didn't. I was trying to calm myself down at first because I was too angry at you, and you weren't ready to deal with the path of destruction you created last night. And it's a mess, Nova said sharply. How much longer do you really think that you are going to be able to stay alive? Davin maliciously said. King Liam has called a council meeting today to decide your fate. That can't be good. Princess Ebony said in alarm to Nova. Did you know about that too? Never mind what I know, Nova replied. We can't change what happened last night, and I have been dealing with it while you were sleeping. And don't ask how, Nova ordered. You deal with Davin right now. He's standing there with a murderous look. Princess Ebony reached over and picked up her iron blade that Davin had tossed at her feet while he had been taunting her. She knew that her blade was no match for Davin's stronger steel blade. Throwing caution to the wind, Princess Ebony reeled around with her sword raised high, matching Davin's stance. He was waiting for her to begin. David gave a victory shout as if he had already won the fight he had drawn her into. He rushed at her carelessly. Princess Ebony stepped to the side as he began to swing wildly at her. She could clearly see the murderous look in his eyes that Nova had warned her about. She took a couple of steps forward and kicked his leg out from under him as she blocked his sword with hers. Davin tumbled on the ground. He quickly rolled and got back on his feet, grabbing the sword that he had dropped. So you don't want a sword fight, he growled. You want to brawl. I am good at that. He laughed. Ebony shouted back at him. You think this is a fair sword fight? Steel against iron? And I am a woman as well. Wait until I tell the councilman about Mariana. Davin circled Ebony. He was more cautious than before, but his confidence hadn't wavered, even after being tripped. You think anyone cares what you have to say after last night? Yep, I am the princess, she said with confidence she wasn't feeling. The Dark Princess, he growled. A disgraced princess. He laughed maliciously. His arrogance angered her. Nova cautioned Princess Ebony. He wants to get you to get angry and lose your head, literally. Princess Ebony took a deep breath. She waited for Davin to make his move as they circled one another. She didn't have to wait long. He lunged at her again. She blocked him immediately, but she could feel the iron weakening in the blade of her sword beneath his blow. Nova, can you do something about this sword of mine? Ebony cried out desperately. Maybe, Nova replied. Maybe not. As he says, everyone knows about me. Why hide my power from him any longer? We are far enough from the palace that no one will notice. Drop your sword, she commanded. Davin laughed as Ebony dropped her sword to the ground. She raised her hands and backed away a couple of steps. Now what are you going to do, little girl? He taunted. Convince Davin to fight without a sword, instructed Nova. Talk him into dropping his sword, and I will give you my strength like you have never felt before. You are not going to die today, especially not by his hand.